Hearts of Iron 4 is a grand strategy game by Paradox Interactive. It's the long-awaited sequel to Hearts of Iron 3, which was easily one of the most in-depth grand strategy games ever made when it comes to raw military simulation with the organization of your fronts, front lines, second lines, and rear logistics. So let's talk about gameplay, the bread and butter of any grand strategy game. Where does Hearts of Iron 4 improve over its predecessor? In production, easily. Hearts of Iron 4 features a very in-depth production system for your tools of war. You can dedicate factories to producing your tools, which gain efficiency over time as the workers get used to creating that type of equipment. You can manually customize the strengths and weaknesses of the blueprints of your tanks as well, which is a very interesting new feature. So you can either roll with the default things off of the historical research tree, or modify them to your liking. Lend-Lease has also been improved, as now you can send aid to your allies directly, instead of loaning them your industry power to create aid. In terms of war economics, this is one of the best Paradox games to date, just easily. Unfortunately, resources in this game are static map-based control points, which just grant you access to production, not of the resources, just of things that require them. This means there are no more resource stockpiles, which is a very strange and regressive feature that sort of upsets how amazing this war economy is. The way actual war works is strangely different from previous Hearts of Iron titles. No longer can you organize your lines of war with the in-depth micromanagement that made this game series what it was. No longer can you really fortify a line with secondary lines to reinforce it and third lines to pull back your injured divisions to for healing. Now you kinda just stack all your divisions on top of each other endlessly, in front lines that fight in battles limited only by the size of the battlefield itself. There's no more rear logistics, there's no more healing. Now they just all kind of regenerate over time, assuming you have the supplies and the supply lines. The good news is that with these changes and the addition of the macro management system of drawing your front lines and your intended targets, the game is more accessible than ever, in that what took plenty of strategic effort in the past is now accomplishable with 2 clicks of your mouse. Unfortunately, all the strategic depth to the game as a result is also gone. There is no skill left in combat other than having the knowledge of how to create effective divisions, designs, and how to disperse them among your front lines. Air and naval combat have overall been improved for the better, unlike the ground combat, I'd say. They both work by assigning your fleets and wings to zones and giving them a specific type of goal to accomplish while in that zone. The only annoying thing there is that ship fleets have no cohesion whatsoever. The fastest ships always run forward and engage first, and get slaughtered. There is no fleet strategy. You just kinda need to hope you have the right amount and types of ships to win. Historical tech trees are gone, so those lovely things that we had for like every country in Hearts of Iron 3, now only very few specific major powers have them in this edition of Hearts of Iron. Historical events no longer play the biggest role, as those nations now have focus trees as well, which allow them to research events of their choosing. So Germany can now choose to have an event that creates a new faction between them and the Soviets, for example, and certain countries can intentionally stray into an ahistorical path. The focus trees, I feel, are an excellent addition to the series, but only the ones that are specific. The generic tree shared by most nations is boring, dull, and unnecessary. Graphics have been vastly improved. Performance definitely better than Hearts of Iron 3 when it comes to a huge lack of memory leaks this time around. Unfortunately, the game is filled with bugs that mostly plague modders, and as a result, leave many total conversions that you'll find left incomplete. Internet connection to a host of a multiplayer match seems only vaguely linked to internet speed. There's a huge slowdown you can feel somewhere in between how Paradox connects players, and in matches with a lot of players, you'll find you have to play at turtle pace speeds because at least one can't keep up, even if their internet should be able to. The biggest problem, once you get past the complete downgrade of this game compared to its predecessor, is that the base game is so bare bones and empty, you'll be wondering where the hell the rest of the game ran off to. It was released incomplete, and paid DLCs have barely added anything worth justifying the price of the original game, let alone the price they want you to pay for the DLCs on top of it. Hearts of Iron 4 gets a 6 out of 10 for me though. If you are someone that is afraid of how complex grand strategy games are, don't worry. This is so simple, a 5-year-old could play it. But if you're someone who wants substance to their grand strategy instead of accessibility, look elsewhere. If you found this review helpful and you want to see more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you on the next Res Reviews.